This kind of battle that's taking place within us when it comes to Moldavite, this kind of spiritual trigger of evolution through shadow work, it's not a losing battle. It doesn't have to be. Welcome back to another Vibes and Frequencies video. My name is Nathan, and if you happen to be new to my channel here, I make videos about crystals, crystal energy, all things to do with crystals, really. And in today's crystal video, what you can expect to see is a breakdown of the top 5 Moldavite shadow work effects. And if you're not too sure what I mean by this, I promise you're about to find out. It's about to make a whole lot of sense, so let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Before I bust out into number 1 and blow the roof off this place, I want to go ahead and say thank you to Victoria and Tori Twan, my Patreons. Thank you both very much. You are fire. Fire. Thank you to everybody that's been donating. Seriously, you are all really, truly actually supporting me and my life right now. So thank you so much. Without further ado, Moldavite effect number 1. Moldavite is going to drive you full swing into your shadow self. Now, what is shadow self, you may be asking? Shadow self, I'll go ahead and just explain it as the parts of you that you normally hide from, the darker sides of ourselves, things that can tend to hold us back, the things that are really just our darkness. There's a lot more to it than this, but I'm going to go ahead and, leave the explanation at this for now. So Moldavite is going to drive you full swing into this, and here's what I mean. Moldavite has this incredible way about it, where it tends to drive our consciousness and our awareness to every dimension of who we are, in which we oftentimes find ourselves exploring dimensions with Moldavite of ourselves that we didn't necessarily know were there, and also especially the dimensions of ourselves that we didn't think we knew were there, but as soon as you feel it, as soon as you become aware of it, you're going to go, oh yeah, I know this piece of myself. This is the piece of myself I've been trying to hide from. I have been diving full swing into my shadow and doing some pretty powerful shadow work this past week and just been having kind of a hard time. So that's kind of what's inspired this video. So there's some context for you. Because Moldavite raises our vibration so powerfully, we are forced to confront pieces of ourselves that would otherwise be in the way of allowing our vibration to raise. Now, Moldavite is this furnace, this engine, this powerhouse pushing us forwards on our spiritual evolution. It's an incredible journey, and a lot of this has to do with some dark stuff, some things and some demons inside of us that perhaps, we may have confronted and thought we conquered before, but here we go. Moldavite is letting us know, no, this is still inside of you, dude. This is still something you're carrying, something that is affecting you subconsciously, consciously, and all kinds of dimensions of us. So this can express itself, but is not limited to all kinds of things that may be echoes of experiences that you've had in your past, or even perhaps parallel lives, past lives. However you look at this kind of information and resonate with it, these can be things that we've been carrying for so long in our lives and all other lives and versions of who we could possibly be and are and have ever been. To make this video a little bit more personal and, drive it in a direction that makes more sense than just hypotheticals, let me go ahead and tell you what I've been dealing with for this last week. And I'm not trying to get like super personal here, so I'll scratch the surface enough to where we can all make sense of what I mean. I got this new piece of Moldavite a week ago, and when I got it, I said to myself that I was ready to really dive deep inside of myself and have some things come up and confront it so that I could evolve more spiritually. That's literally what I consciously chose and put out into the universe. Is I am ready to dive deep. Everything's been going really well for me for a while here now. I'm ready for things to break up a little bit and to really screw me over so I can grow and become even stronger than I am now. So that's what, happy Nathan, happy-go-lucky Nathan said. So here I am now, a week later going, thanks a lot, dude. Thanks for putting that out in the universe. So for me, this entire last week, I have been like totally binge eating food. To be honest with you guys, have just been like getting just totally blasted, like drunk and falling into behaviors like this, watching, just like binge watching TV shows, really not doing anything productive. All things that aren't necessarily going to be what your shadow self reveals to you when you're working with Moldavite, but are the aspects of myself that really are the biggest echo of what holds me back. And for me, that is my shadow. It is falling into behaviors, doing actions, projecting my consciousness into a reality and place where for me, it's all a distraction. It's to distract myself from being here. I like doing things with my shadow self that make me feel like I'm not here. I like to detach. I like to transport my consciousness into other dimensions, aka a TV show, drugs, eating like tons of food and just falling into the feeling of pleasure, these kinds of things. So that's what my shadow tends to do. So there you go. Now you all know what I've been doing this last week. You're welcome. I'm sure you'd been wondering. Probably not, but... You might ask, what benefit does this have? How does that make sense that for our spiritual evolution, Moldavite is going to drive me into being the person that is the darkness of myself, right? Like, how does it make sense that to spiritually evolve myself, I get this Moldavite, all of a sudden this energy wave comes over me, and now I'm just like completely not doing anything that the real me, the real joyous light inside of me wants to do, right? Like suddenly I'm just being super unhealthy and not happy. What's the point of this? What's the point? Great question. This leads us to number two. Number two is that the distractions and the things of your shadow self that Moldavite drives you into full swing, totally encompassing you and taking over, like, oh my gosh, like, geez, it's a mess sometimes with Moldavite. All of a sudden, these activities, they don't feel good. They don't give you pleasure anymore. And that is the point. This is how the evolution takes place. So let me express this a little bit better here. This is how it manifested for me. I can't tell you necessarily how this will manifest for you because I don't know your shadow like I know mine. The drugs stop working, so I'll feel the compulsion to take them. I feel like I really want to be high. The want to be high is amplified by Moldavite, but the lack of ability to get high, to get to that place that I normally would have gotten to with drugs, it doesn't work anymore. So Moldavite amplifies the intensity inside of me of the drive of wanting to distract myself, but won't let me distract myself. And this is where this powerful spin kind of comes in, is because when the part of you is so amplified that wants to hide, that wants to pretend that this part of you isn't there, when that part is so amplified, but there's no way to distract yourself, what does this mean? It means you are forced to meet and shake the hand of your shadow, and you can't hide. You can't pretend like he or she or it, or I don't know, shadow. What is a shadow? There's no distractions that will work anymore. So no matter how much you're driven to want to, it doesn't work. And this is Moldavite's way of making your nightmare bigger so that you have to conquer it. But because it's made so much bigger and all the weaknesses of the monster are taken away, or so it seems, right? Because you don't have a way to fight it anymore, that you think you have to deal with it, but without the benefits of being able to distract yourself, if that makes sense. So this is going to lead us to number three. Now, number three is pretty cool because it's some light. We deserve some light in this discussion. And this kind of battle that's taking place within us when it comes to Moldavite, this kind of spiritual trigger of evolution through shadow work, it's not all you on your own. And I mean that as in it's not a losing battle. It doesn't have to be, and here's why. As I said earlier, Moldavite really raises our vibration so powerfully. And as this vibrational raising takes place, we have to vibrationally let go of the negativity. Or I guess we could express it better as the lower vibrational thought forms, lower vibrational energy, lower vibrational activities. These kinds of things literally have to be let go so that we can transcend and continue to raise up. Okay, so this is why all these things come up for us. This is why we're confronted by all these things, in my opinion, is because of the vibration raising. That's why all of these things we have to let go, and you can't let go without becoming aware of it, which is why it becomes so in your face. But here's the deal. As we let go of these things, the demon actually, I'm just calling it a demon. I'm not saying it's like a literal demon inside of us, but the demon that we're battling, the shadow side of us, okay, the shadow work that's being done, actually becomes more powerful as you continue your evolution. But the reason for this is not because it's an unwinnable battle. It's because as you become more powerful, you start to find yourself confronting the more powerful aspects of your shadow self. So it's no longer just surface things that you're able to distract yourself from anymore. For example, like with me, like with food, entertainment and drugs. I can't distract myself anymore, so I can't just deal with the surface level discomforts of my life anymore. Suddenly, I have to start battling bigger parts. And as I confront those and let those go and my vibration raises, suddenly, now I'm conquering even deeper parts of my shadow self. You can feel this part of yourself, you acknowledge it's there, and then it blows away in the wind. And then the deeper parts start to make themselves known, like I said. So the monster becomes more difficult, but you become more strong. So here's the deal. Based on your vibration, you are basically like a radio that's tuned to a certain vibration, a certain frequency, right? All of a sudden, my channel name makes sense. Here we go. Vibes and frequencies. You are tuned to a frequency, and whatever frequency you are tuned to, things that are relevant and are vibrating at the same frequency flow into you. So if you are a lower vibration, whatever that means, then you may feel information and thoughts flowing into you because you're tuned to that channel of it being a lower vibration, right? But as your vibration raises, you're turning the dial. You're turning it up to a higher vibration, which means higher vibrational energy, higher vibrational thought forms and activities. All of these things will start to manifest themselves in your reality. So it's not like you're going to be weaponless against the shadow that you are confronting, because as your vibration raises, you are going to attract new quote-unquote tools to help you on your journey of evolution and shadow work. And this, for me, just a basic example for you, manifested itself as, instead of using drugs to get high all the time like I did a long time ago, now all of a sudden I was drawn to meditation, yoga, eating healthier, finding supplements for my pineal gland, the third eye, things like this. You will start to be attracted to and attract to you higher vibrational way of life. And in that higher vibrational way of life, you will find yourself being on what we call the Moldavite evolution, right? The spiritual awakening process. As this kind of new doorway to a new dimension of thinking opens, you will attract all kinds of new things through that doorway. And it's really a beautiful experience. It's not just negative. It might feel like it is sometimes because we're so confronted with our shadow. Like me, for this last week, it's been real difficult, to be fully honest with you. But there is no inherent bad. There is no negative. Everything just is, right? And everything is constantly leading us to the next thing. And I really like where I am right now making this video. So the whole last week was totally worth it, right? Now, there's a lot of different ways we can look at this, but it's just part of the evolution. This brings me to number 4. After I gave you that little nugget there of, feeling like, oh, it's not all bad, right? Now I'll throw you another thing to realize, and that is that Moldavite has a very dynamic energy, okay? Moldavite is pretty hilarious because it's like you could be incredibly high, like just buzzing on all levels. Like I'll be making videos, like giggling, laughing, like tons of energy translating through the camera to you guys. In all aspects of my life, I'll be experiencing this high vibrational energy. Or you've got the other dynamic. I'll just be like kind of depressed and down, really tired, feeling really heavy, really weighed down, really confused, really kind of upset with myself that all these pieces of me that, while I was so high vibe, I thought I had conquered, are all of a sudden back again. And that's the dynamic that I'm talking about here. Moldavite, in my opinion, always is giving us, and we are always giving ourselves through that, because Moldavite is just an extension of us. It is, you know, a physical representation of our higher selves, I think. This is my own personal opinion. And I believe it's only ever going to be giving us the kind of work that we are ready for. So when things start falling apart, you know, it feels like everything's falling apart because, you know, to be honest, it is. Moldavite tends to turn everybody's lives upside down and make everything fall apart. But it's from the ashes we rise like the burning phoenix. You know, it's from all these broken pieces we can design and build something new. We can create ourselves more artistically in alignment with who we truly are inside of this, you know, higher vibration, or, you know, whatever you want to be. It's always your choice. It's through the dynamics of Moldavite going up and throwing you down and up and throwing you down. It's through that dynamic that it's like a wave crashing. It's like you got to surf it, you know? That's where the transformation takes place. It's when things are dynamically shooting up and down that you really have to sit there and think about where you are and really feel it and really understand. If you were always in the middle, if there was always a certain baseline, I believe personally that there would be less transformation. When things are always the same and I'm always feeling good, it's nice, it's peaceful, everything's dependable. But it's when everything is just like, I don't know what I'm gonna get, and every day is something new, and every minute is like a different feeling. It's when things are just going bonkers to the wall that I really have to sit there and really feel, who am I really? What am I really doing here? Where am I going? And what choice am I making in this singular, powerful moment right here and right now? Again, that's how it manifests for me. I do believe that this kind of shadow work and this kind of transformative property of Moldavite can manifest and will manifest differently for different people. I believe personally that dynamics, having to surf, having things always changing around you, is how we learn to adapt and artistically create ourselves and transform more, which could be why that's what Moldavite does to me, because it's channeling into my beliefs and manifesting it. So I'm actually curious, how do you feel that the transformation manifests for you? I'd love to know. Mine manifests based on constant change, constant transformation, and nothing ever staying the same, just always evolving and always falling apart. This brings me to number 5, baby. Number 5. This brings me to number 5 because number 5 really is an echo of number 4, in the sense that I just want to, you know, kind of re-articulate something that's a really powerful understanding with Moldavite. And it's that spiritual evolution is continuous and is always taking place. There is no final destination when it comes to Moldavite or when it comes to our spiritual evolution. And I believe that the most powerful way to spiritually evolve ourselves is by dynamically experiencing our highest vibrational self and our deepest, darkest shadow self in conjunction with each other, on and off, and finding ourselves like a pinball right in the center, just bouncing back and forth like a wild one. It's in that bouncing that there's this kind of friction that's created, and to me, that's where I am myself. That is where I am created. I am the friction. I am the energy vibrating, dancing around, creating this physical form of me here, holding this camera, wearing this shirt, wearing this Moldavite. It's complete nonsense, but it's cool because it's physical and so you could touch it. But there is no end to it, okay? So just because this is a physical manifestation, that this is where I'm experiencing things happening around me, there are other depths to us that I'm sure you can agree we can call perhaps a different dimension of reality, our emotions, our thought forms. So, no. I do not personally believe that there is an end to the transformation. My experience has not been as such. And sure, I've had Moldavite for less than a year. It's been about 9 months now, but it's been incredible. And every time I think I've come to some kind of wall of, whoa, This is who I am. It all makes sense now. I get to ride that wave for maybe like a few weeks or so and feel stability in that. And then all of a sudden, boom, everything falls apart again. And then the Moldavite starts buzzing and all kinds of more craziness happens. And then I deal with some darkness and my shadows. And then boom, then I find stability. This is who I am. It all makes sense now. Boom, all falls apart. It's this cyclical existence. And it's really, really quite comical to me. And it's very quite transformational. So expect when you bring Moldavite into your life, expect that when you're working with Moldavite, that there is no final project. There is no date that you're going to turn in the project, because it will never be done. We're always creating ourselves. We're always evolving. There is no end to that. And I think that we should be grateful for that, because we're alive. We get to live and explore ourselves, and we get to mess up and succeed and feel happy and sad. It's pretty freaking cool. When it all falls apart, that does not erase all the success that you've had. And as a matter of fact, it's not failure. It is a huge part of your success, of being the universe creating itself. You are reality itself. We are everything. That means that you are the bad things too. Even though I'm evolving and constantly changing, there is one thing that I know about myself, and it's that I am good. I am love. I am amazing. I am high energy of awesomeness, and there is absolutely no reason I would ever create anything that was not in my benefit. I just wouldn't. I know myself. At the deepest core of all my dimensions, I would never do anything to myself that I did not want to experience. So even when things are bad, trust. That's my pro tip. Quote unquote for the pro part. But, you know, that's my tip. That's my tip. Just trust. Remember who you are. Remember that you are everything. And I think that it'll all be pretty good. So thank you so much for watching this Vibes and Frequencies video. I super appreciate it. I will see you all in a day from today for my next video. And yeah, have a good one. Enjoy your shadow work. See you soon. Bye.